So here we are seeing the beautiful description of the Lord, the details of various parts of His transcendental body, the various transcendental decorations on His body, how it appears. Very descriptive details are given here, so that the meditative yogi, the yogi who wants to meditate on the form of the Supreme Lord, has information about all of these fine details. So we are seeing that part of the instructions of Lord Kapila to his mother Devahuti, describing these details to help a yogi to meditate on the Lord for a sufficient length of period of time on the specific features of the transcendental form of the Lord. So, continuation with that. Here in today's verse we see Kapila Muni speaking about the thighs of the Lord. Those quotes can be kept somewhere. Every time devotees will keep coming and putting it, and again it will keep falling down. Drawer it can be kept. Yes. So here we find now the description of the lotus feet is over. Sanchintayed bhagavatas charanaravindam, and then the description of the janu or the knees, that portion is over. The description of Mother Lakshmi, Lord Shiva, that is over. Now next coming to the thighs of the Lord. Uru Suparna Bhujayor Adhishobhamana. The thighs, especially when it is resting on the shoulders of Garuda. Adhishobhamana. It appears very beautiful. And those thighs are Ojaha Nidhi. Ojaha or Ojo Nidhi means the Nidhi, the reservoir of all strength. So we have heard this sufficiently. The Lord, He is the reservoir of all opulences. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasa shriyaha jnana vairagyayoshchaiva shannam bhaga itingana. He is the reservoir of all strength, all beauty, all knowledge, all renunciation, all fame, and all of these things. Now here we see the strength. Usually we give the example how Krishna with his little finger of the left hand lifted the huge Govardhana hill for 7 continuous days. So that is his strength. And here in today's verse we find that the Lord, His beautiful thighs, which is said to be the storehouse of all energy. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the personality of Godhead is the reservoir of all strength, and His strength rests on the thighs of His transcendental body. Shri Krishna Balarama ki jai. The strength rests on the transcendental thighs of the Lord. And okay, the color of the thighs. Atasika kusuma avabhasau. It is like the color of the Atasika kusuma. Srila Prabhupada says, the luster of the linseed flower. A flower which is almost whitish blue. That is the color of a linseed flower, and that is the color of the Lord's thighs. Ojo nidhi atasika kusumava bhasau. So that thighs, which is the storehouse of the strength, all strength, and it has the color of a linseed flower, bluish white, and especially appears very beautiful when it is resting on the two shoulders of Garuda. Uru Suparna Bhujayor Adhishobhamanau. So we find how the Lord's thighs are appearing on the shoulders of Garuda. It is said in the description given of Gajendra, when Gajendra offered his beautiful prayers, the Lord appeared on the scene seated on the back of Garuda. It is said there how the Lord appeared Chakrayudaha Patagaraja Bhujadi Rudaha. The Lord, hearing the prayers of Gajendra, with his disc in his hand, Sudarshana Chakra, Patagaraja, the king of all birds, Garuda, Bhuja Adhirudaha, who being seated on his shoulders, on his back. So likewise, many places in the Bhagavatam we find when Daksha, when he performed the sacrifice the second time, then also the Lord appeared there on the scene, seated on the back of Garuda. When the Prachetas, when they offered prayers, the Lord came on through the vehicle of Garuda. So in all of these places, the description of the Lord is given as being seated on the back of Garuda, on the shoulders of Garuda, resting his thighs on the shoulders of Garuda. Especially at that point of time, his thighs appears very beautiful. And also we see how in the story of the killing of Hiranyakashipu, the Lord, after a great battle with Hiranyakashipu and all of his army, finally, when the ripe time arrived, he carried Hiranyakashipu in his hands, sat, and he made Hiranyakashipu lie on his laps, on his thighs, and then the description, what we hear, what we sing and chant daily, through his sharp nails, he ripped apart the belly of Hiranyakashipu. So that's the thighs on which he rested, that very strong Hiranyakashipu. So all of these wonderful description we see. Uru Suparna Bhujayor Adhishobhamana Ojo Nidhi Atasika Kusumava Bhasau. The color, the strength that is mentioned here. And then Vyalambi Pita Varavasasi Vartamana. About the dress, that description is given here now in the third line. His dress, Vasasi, Vasasaha means dress, the dress what the Lord wears. And Varavasasi, very exquisite, very beautiful. And the color is mentioned here as being Pita. Pita means yellow color. Prabhupada in the purport he says, the lower part of the body, that is the Vaikuntha dress, yellow silk, that is the Vaikuntha dress, or the dress the Lord wears in the spiritual sky. So this is the Vaikuntha dress. Here in material world we have one kind of dress. Different people, different background, they wear different kinds of dresses. So in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha planets, there also there is the dress. That's the dress is yellow color, silk and yellow silk, very exquisite. And that dress, so it starts from his Kanchi Kalapa Parirambi Nitamba Bimbam. So the dress in the lower part of the body, we find there is a girdle on his hips, on his round hips, and it is placed on the yellow dress. And that yellow dress, silken dress, extends up to his ankles. Vyalambi. Vyalambi means extending down. So from his hips, the cloth extends down up to his ankles. So this is the description given here. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the description of the transcendental form of the Lord is exactly represented in the Archa Vigraha. So we have heard these descriptions, the Vaikuntha dress, the color of the dress, and how he wears all of these things. And then devotees, they see the same thing in the Archa Vigraha also. So especially the devotees involved in dressing the deities, the pujaris. So at least these details they know. First they are instructed to whatever, they'll wear the deities made to wear dhoti, or the lower part of the body, one nice garments are being worn, and then there's the belt given to tie on the hips of the Lord, and then subsequent all other jewelry, and then finally a garland, and all of these things. So that's what exactly Prabhupada says here. The description of the transcendental form of the Lord is exactly represented in the Archa Vigraha. Same thing, no difference. Archa Vigraha, the statue in the temples. Generally, the lower part of the body of the statue of the Lord is covered with yellow silk. That is the Vaikuntha dress, or the dress the Lord wears in the spiritual sky. This cloth extends down to the ankles. So from his hips up to the ankles, this dress extends. So all of these things are very wonderfully given here. So keeping in mind all of these things, one last point Prabhupada says, that is, thus, since the yogi has so many transcendental objectives on which to meditate, not one or two, the description, so many verses, it goes on, so many points he has to meditate on. There is no reason for his meditating on something imaginary, as is the practice of the so-called yogis whose objective is impersonal. So there are many yogis whose objective is to go and merge into the impersonal existence of the Lord, and such yogis, they meditate on something imaginary. They say, in whatever form you want, you can meditate, or some standard forms are there, you can meditate, and finally it's just a stepping stone, and finally you have to give up all these things and you have to merge into the existence of God. Such is their argument. But no, a real yogi, a yogi who has reached the perfectional stage, he is aware of all of these different features of the Lord. So here, when we say the yogi who has reached the perfectional stage, the best of the yogis, so that description we find the definition given in the Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, last verse, which is that yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. He is the best yogi. In fact, the one verse prior to that, Krishna glorifies the position of a yogi. Tapasvibhyo api adhikaha yogi. Among all the tapasvis, the yogi is the best. Jnanibhyaha api adhikaha. He is the best among all the jnanis also. And then he says, even among karmis, the yogi is the best. So there, the yogi means referring to that spiritualist who wants to connect with the Supreme. So he is always in a superior position compared to just some tapasvis doing some tapasya, austerity for the sake of some austerity or gaining some material power, or jnanis who are just behind reading more and more books, more and more literatures, go on acquiring knowledge without putting that into practice, or especially karmis, simply interested in some material mundane activities. A yogi is superior to all of such people. And even among all of many yogis, because some yogis, they are inclined towards, they are practicing their spiritual whatever sadhana activities, transcendental activities, but more inclined towards karma, kamya karma. They want something. So they perform yoga or devotional service, but with some desires, material motives. We say karma yogi. And those yogis, in their path, that jnana that is more predominant, we say jnana yogi. Likewise, ashtanga yogi, among all of them, yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. That yogi who is shraddhavan bhajate yomam, with shraddha, with transcendental faith, is engaged in my devotional service. He is the best among all the yogis. So there, why I quoted this verse, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives this description in one of the paragraphs there. Telling about the position of an ideal yogi, specifically what it is it, the form of the Lord. There, Prabhupada says, the ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Shyama Sundara. So he is the ideal yogi who meditates on the form of Krishna, who is known as Shyama Sundara, who is as beautifully colored as a cloud. So his color is mentioned as the color of the cloud, whose lotus-like face is as effulgent as the sun. His face is like the sun, very effulgent like the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels and whose body is flower garlanded. So he is wearing a dress, he is wearing nice jewelry, and a nice flower garland rests on his torso, on his body, illuminating all sides is his gorgeous lustre, which is called Brahma Jyoti. So the Brahma Jyoti is nothing but the effulgence emanating from his body. So we should be aware of all of these things. He incarnates in different forms such as Rama, Narasimha, Varaha and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So his various incarnations as Rama, Narasimha, Varaha. And he descends like a human being as a son of Mother Yashoda. He is the Supreme Lord. He takes various incarnations. Sometimes he just appears from a pillar like Narasimha. Sometimes he appears from the nostril of Lord Brahma in case of Lord Varaha. And sometimes he appears as the son of Mother Yashoda. And he is known by various names: Krishna, Govinda and Vasudeva. Then he is the perfect child, husband, friend and master. So here speaking about the relationship, what the Lord has with his n number of devotees in relationship as a husband, as the son, as the father, as the master. In varieties of ways he is related with his pure devotees, and he is full with all opulences and transcendental qualities. We discussed this, all transcendental opulences, Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, everything he has, and all transcendental qualities he possesses. If one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called the highest yogi. Again I repeat, if one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called the highest yogi. So now, if we want to raise ourselves to the platform of the highest yogi, we should be conscious of all of these things related to the Supreme Lord. How? The Supreme Lord is the reservoir of all opulences. He has got transcendental qualities. He wears nice dresses, nice jewelry, nice garland. He performs various activities, incarnating himself in this material world in his various forms as Narasimha, Vamana, Varaha, etc. He also appears in his original form as Krishna, as the son of Mother Yashoda. He is known by various names. And like the Brahma Jyoti, the impersonal Brahman effulgence, that's nothing but the effulgence or the light emanating from his transcendental body. So being aware of all of these things, being conscious of all of these things, then it is said here, he is called the highest yogi. So that's why, so to come to this platform of becoming this highest yogi, what Krishna speaks of in the last verse of the 6th chapter, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam. So to come to this level, the description given here by Lord Kapila helps us in such great detail. Various features of the Lord, the various ornaments, the various decorations on his transcendental body, all of these things, and especially giving focus on the specific parts of his body. Oh, wonderful. So all of these things a devotee should be aware of, conscious of. Then it will help him meditate on all of these things. Now, just one more point I would like to tell you, and then with this we'll conclude. Now, here the description of the transcendental form is nicely mentioned. Likewise, Srila Prabhupada has told us that devotees should, just now we are seeing how Shraddhavan bhajate yoma, devotees engage themselves in devotional service to the Supreme Lord, rendering transcendental service to the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada, through his organization, through the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, has created a wonderful opportunity for varieties of devotees coming from different background, different places, different set of skills, different levels of intelligence, and all of these things. A platform is created to render devotional service. So whatever services are there, we need to give attention to the details, be focused on whatever things are allocated to us, and this is, like say, is said to be one of the greatest facility for us to meditate on. The varieties of service opportunities available to us. In one of the letter Srila Prabhupada has written to one of his devotees, Shukadeva Das, he says, a pure devotee always thinks himself as not devotee. A pure devotee, he thinks himself as not a devotee. I am not a devotee. That is a good attitude. If one thinks he is a big devotee, that is not good. Thinking that he is first degree, that is not good. We should not be puffed up. A devotee avoids it, remaining always in the second degree. A devotee is never puffed up. He never thinks he is the best. No. He always remains in the second degree. Just like a dog. It is a faithful servant. So that's the position a devotee accepts. The position of a servant, the servant of the servant. To become lowest dog is to become on the highest platform of service. To become the lowest of the lowest, or the servant of the servant of the servant, that is the highest platform of service. Krishna has given everyone something extraordinary, and to serve Krishna with one's extraordinary talent means successful life. So for everyone, Krishna has given something extraordinary, and to serve Krishna with that extraordinary thing is the success of one's life. So every living entity, every devotee specifically, devotee means he is not ordinary, he is something special. Every devotee has got something special. It may not be in the terms of the mundane calculation of some intelligent devotee or a talented devotee, not that way. Every devotee, Krishna accepts service from varieties of devotees. It's not that only devotees who are very intelligent, very talented, or some in managerial position, in some hierarchy. No, everyone cannot get that. Everyone cannot become that. So those devotees, with whatever they have, that material ability or talent, through that they are serving Krishna. But every devotee has got something extraordinary, something special, and using that in the service of Krishna is the success of life. It is not simply elevating in the hierarchy or wanting something special to show it in front of others. No, that's not the thing. to satisfy Krishna with one's extraordinary ability. That's a success of life. So here, a devotee needs to be careful also. We may think, okay, this is the thing which something extraordinary I have. This is the thing, something very special I have. Yes, I'll use that in the service of Krishna. Neglecting the instructions. No. Especially we should be very careful in the initial stage. We should wait till the training gets over. First we should learn to become a devotee, and then we can engage all of these things. So in that due course, a lot of things are there. We should learn patience, we should have humility, we should learn tolerance. Many things are there in the association of devotees. All of these things we keep learning. And then we wait for the right opportunity, right time. And though all talent, abilities may be there, but still, see these three things, what earlier also I have told this, Jnana, Bala, Kriya. Strength, Jnana, knowledge and talent, ability. These things may be there, but still we need to wait for Agnya, then Asha and Prerana. Specific instructions, then the specific desire to do, and Prerana, inspiration to do. For all of these things, ultimately, we are dependent on the Supreme Lord. So with this we'll conclude. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.